I don't know your tone when you're saying all of these things you're saying. I pretty much I got to guess, and it depends on how long we've been together. I kind of know how you probably responded, or acting, or feeling some type of way. But I'm really projecting and guessing. I really don't know, and it may not be what I'm thinking. I could be totally off. And so now I want to just say just enough to keep her at bay. Okay, or we'll talk about it later when we get home.
Hey,
It's just not the time right now. So don't come stressing me out at work, getting all your shit off, because you're able to get your shit off and you're able to say what you need to say, but I'm not in a position to respond. And now I'm frustrated. I'm upset. I'm mad. And now my coworker like, hey, what's wrong with you, dog? I don't want to sit there and go off. Yeah, my lady, she in her feelings. Now I got to deal with it. Now I'm treating them some type of way because of the text message I got from you. No, that's not cool. That's not okay.
I will address the fact that you are correct in saying, hey, maybe at the time, but that's not talking about the girls who sent a text message saying, can we talk? And he like, well, I don't want to talk on the phone right now. Just text it to me. You know, him inserting his boundary. That what you're saying is coming from a place of a man who not only you understand your authority, the woman has already a good implication of the type of person you are, what you will and won't deal with. You're also far more emotionally intelligent than most men. You know how to very much so handle situations a lot better. On the basis of a man who may be dealing with a woman and he's not too certain of how he wants to, proceed with her. They're stuck in limbo. They have their own issues. And again, I'm not taking away from women weaponizing their words. I'm not taking away from that. I am saying the trigger of a woman, right? When you're sitting there telling a man, this is how I feel, it's very much so A, B, and C, cookie cutter, straight up and down. And he's sitting there telling you, well, this is the way we are going to communicate. And he's reading it, your thoughts. He's seeing it verbatim. You can't misstep a text message. And then for him to come back and say, okay. And then she's responding and saying, you don't have anything to say to what I said. And the response typically goes something along the lines of, well, what you want me to say? It's like you're causing a defense. You're causing a trigger. You're causing something to be more than what it is because she's clearly came to you and laid this out. Women don't communicate well. We communicate a lot. But if you're reading what I'm saying as a problem, at that point, there should not be no misinterpretation. You're reading it. And this is also what happens in our generation.
But we also know just because you're reading don't mean it's interpret the way it says. That's the big key. It doesn't always mean what it says. I could say certain, I could talk to you so nice, but I could be cutting you down, right? Or I could just say something just off the wall, but really giving you a compliment.
But
it
that
depends.
should not be.
It depends on the situation and the tone. I get addressed all the time. Hank, man, your tone and your delivery. God damn, but I'm saying the same goddamn things. Cloud just said it. He just said it in a more sweeter and more loving way, and I just was straight to the goddamn point. But we pretty much saying the goddamn same thing. It happens like that. So I'm gonna let somebody else speak on it. I appreciate the back and forth, press. Thank you, man.
I'm about to go to Luis, then Coach K. It's on you, Luis.
Yeah, man. I think for me, in my personal experience, especially dealing with women in relationships, is that often sometimes what happens is that we listen to respond rather to listen to understand or comprehend. And one of the things that I've come to grips is to ask the question, when my woman wants to talk to me about something, I always ask, do you want me to just simply listen, or do you want me to provide a solution? Right? Because sometimes you're being approached like, I want to talk to you about something, I want to tell you about something, but you don't even know where the conversation is going to go. And sort of you're trying to, take in a lot, but also because we're, solution based, right? We try to think about how we're going to fix it, how we're going to come up with a solution, or, how does this affect us, right? Rather than sometimes they want to be listened to just vet, but we're trying to find a solution, right? Because we didn't set the the expectation right up front. You know what I'm saying? Do you just want me to listen because you want to vent and you want to get something off your chest? Or there's something that you feel discontent about? Or do you want me to provide a solution for you? Or a path forward for something? And I think that's very important. You know, you did really bring up something, you and Paris dialoguing back and forth, that made me take some notes. You know, cell phones have really ruined the way that we do relationships and how we communicate. Because if I work in a very stressful, very mental focused space, right? I can't receive bad news in the middle of the day and it's going to throw me off my A game. Now I can't even focus on my bag. Now I can't pay attention and focus to my clients and take care of things because this lingering issue is, you know, running in the background, right? Because like, damn, this happened and like I got to think about how to take care of that when I get home, rather than waiting until that person got home from their day, decompress, showered, and sit down and have the conversation. There is no need to drop that type of bomb during the day. We have really created a culture of that, right? Before cell phones, you used to have to think hard about how you're going to tell them, when you're going to tell them, how you're going to approach them, right? It's the first thing in the morning, first thing in the afternoon, first thing in the middle of the day, right? And then you sitting in your car in traffic or on the train, you have time to unpack that for yourself. You have time to think through that, right? Even if it was an argument that you said, oh, you didn't take out the trash, you never do this, blah, 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 blah. You have an opportunity to sit there in the car and think about it. You have an opportunity to sit there on the train and think about it and be prepared and diffuse yourself because you're coming in hot. And by the time you get home in the afternoon after that, it's not even that big of a deal. You're like, you know what? You're right, man. I'm going to go take care of that. You know what? This is how I feel about this. We should move forward doing it this way. But you already having the time to kind of think it through. It's already mellowed out. But two people coming at the situation right when the issue at hand is in play, that's what kind of creates that tension. But being able to kind of take that time to like not need to talk about it. If it's not precedent, it's not life and death or a high priority, save it until you get home and have that conversation. Like, look, I just want you to listen. I got to talk about something, right? And I think that when we miss these opportunities to set these sort of scenarios up, right, and we're just kind of free flowing, that's when the argument comes in and it's like, oh, here we go again with this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Now you're already turned off. You're mentally checked out. You're just there, just listening, but nothing is registering with you. And I think that goes for men and women alike, because even with women, once you trigger, like, doesn't matter. The most logical stuff that comes out of your mouth is going through one ear and out the other, right? So I think it's very important to kind of set the tone and the stage for a lot of scenarios, especially if they're present in your relationship. How you?
I'm about to come to you, Coach K. Quick, I mean, I think, it determines on your baseline communication, because I'm definitely not opposed to text messaging. I'm not opposed to writing stuff down, because I feel like in the midst of, discourse or having a discussion, I feel like when you write stuff down, it's not going to be interrupted. You're going to get all your points across so they'll understand. So even if y'all need to have the face-to-face conversation later about it, at least everything you had on your chest, you got to put out there, whether it's a written note or whether it's a text message. Now, depending on if you want this to be resolved, that dictates how you present it to them. So like Luis was saying, the middle of your work shift, you already know it's hectic at the job, afternoon or after lunch, it's hectic. So if you're sending this message to them in that situation, if I'm receiving that at that time, I'm feeling some type of way. You know what I'm saying? And in my younger years where, I might have been more emotional, I'm like, she's sending this now. So now I'm defensive, and my response is going to be defensive. It's like, and you're going to get a text back like Paris was saying, okay. You know what I mean? Okay is like, whatever, F your feelings. you know, and I'm gonna let you sit on that. And I know how you're gonna respond, because exactly what you explained is what my intent was. If you put your feelings out there articulately and somebody responds okay, that's a clear message right there.
But that's why I said that I think that we're having a conversation about how generations cross each other, because that is a normal way of us communicating now. For my generation, sometimes problems are talked out in person, sometimes problems are talked out in text message, because it's the normality of how we talk to each other. So, Jay, what you're saying is absolutely correct. But if you're talking about triggering a woman, that's a trigger. We see all the time where there are constant posts. I don't care what site you're on, where it says, "Girl, don't send that man that long text message. He don't care." That's literally what it is. Like, you want to vocalize how you feel. You want to tell him, "Hey, this is the issue, this, that, and the third." But you know the response is gonna be, you sent a long paragraph and you got 2 letters back.